paradise crumbled for Lauren Sanchez with two icy words: too late. In an instant, the lavish Venice wedding that once symbolized a billion-dollar fairy tale became the prologue to a bitter battlefield. Paparazzi lights faded into courtroom strategies, and Lauren's dream of ruling Bezos' empire collapsed under the weight of legal warfare. Armed with his $200 billion fortune, Bezos entered the fight not as a grieving husband, but as a strategist, every move calculated like a corporate takeover. What began as a spectacle of gowns, grandeur, and 3,000-course banquets now lingers as a story of betrayal, mockery, and a brutal billionaire showdown. The once glamorous wedding photos that dazzled top magazines soon faced harsh scrutiny, dismissed as a staged PR stunt. Ironically, Lauren's dream wedding became a battlefield for media backlash. In just days, public opinion flipped, from awe at the extravagance to biting skepticism. People asked if it was genuine love or just a polished performance for TikTok and social media. Mocking clips spread fast. One moment, Lauren was boarding a yacht in couture. The next, headlines screamed about a $5 billion divorce. On Twitter, #LaurenLosesBigShot trended, while Reddit buzzed with sarcastic threads like, "Jeff Farnley snaps." As the gossip storm raged, Lauren vanished from the spotlight. No more confident airport struts or lavish Instagram posts, only a tense, telling silence. Silence marked Lauren's downfall. Her fairy tale wedding dissolved into humiliation within weeks. While she chased the spotlight, Bezos played a colder game, wielding his iron-clad prenup, nicknamed the $5 billion Boomerang. Crafted with surgical precision, it forbade her from turning their marriage into a brand, leaving no loophole. Under pressure, Lauren signed without realizing she was stepping into a trap. Every glossy photo shoot and Hollywood pitch became evidence against her, transforming her dream of media royalty into a legal nightmare. For Bezos, it wasn't heartbreak, but strategy. For Lauren, it was survival, fighting back through image and influence, even as the empire closed in.
In the days after the wedding, Lauren courted fashion houses and magazines, eager to crown herself as the new queen of wealth. But what she saw as branding was exactly the trap Bezos had built. The prenup's brutal clause against media exploitation turned a glossy photo shoot into damning evidence. Each magazine spread and Hollywood meeting painted as breach and manipulation. Allies she trusted began to flip, and whispers of betrayal cut deeper than the lawsuits. Instead of elevating her status, every move fed the narrative that she had staged the marriage for fame. What began as a dream of reinvention collapsed into a carefully sprung cage. Proving her greatest mistake wasn't ambition, but mistaking a billion-dollar union for her personal stage. In Bezos' world, silence isn't surrender, it's strategy, a weapon as sharp as any courtroom argument. While Lauren dazzled on magazine covers and courted the glamour of Hollywood, Bezos moved in shadows, quietly fortifying his empire. He restructured assets behind shell companies, lined up elite lawyers known for crushing billion-dollar cases, and rehearsed every possible counterstrike like a chess master studying the board. He smiled for cameras, let Lauren bask in the spotlight, and said nothing, because silence wasn't weakness, it was timing. Then, with ruthless precision, he struck. No warnings, no hints, no soft landing. Just a courier in Malibu slipping a stack of cold papers into Lauren's hands. Divorce filings worth $5 billion, accompanied by two words that echoed like a verdict: too late. In an instant, what she imagined as a glamorous reinvention collapsed into a calculated checkmate. Her world unraveled. Assets froze overnight. Her once loyal advisors turned cautious, and lawyers began circling like predators. Every move she made, every photo op, every interview, every careless smile was twisted into potential evidence of breach and manipulation. The woman who dreamed of owning the narrative now found her every gesture weaponized against her. For Bezos, the true power wasn't in the billions he could spend or lose. It was in demonstrating to Lauren and to the watching world that the game had never been hers to play. The board, the rules, the outcome, everything had always belonged to him. And when the trap snapped shut, he didn't need rage, theatrics, or noise. His silence said it all. Control was the ultimate prize, and it was his from the start.
Bezos struck not with fury, but with silence, a silence sharper than any public attack. He let the iron-clad contracts, the cold wishiri of the courts, and the relentless tide of public opinion dismantle Lauren piece by piece. One attorney captured it perfectly. Bezos doesn't divorce, he defeats. What had once been hailed as a fairy tale wedding in Venice now seemed less like a celebration of love and more like a meticulously laid trap. The powerful friends who had once raised their glasses to her brilliance disappeared one by one. Even Oprah, whispered to be her strongest ally, offered no word of defense. The glittering facade crumbled further when influencers quietly deleted their glamorous posts, and celebrities who had once fought for her spotlight retreated into silence. The woman once anointed as queen was erased from the very spectacle she had worked so hard to create. Then came the sharpest wound of all: social media. Hashtags turned cruel, memes went viral, and endless threads mocked her downfall, transforming what she dreamed would be a billion-dollar love story into nothing more than a cautionary tale for the entire world to witness. Desperate to salvage the crumbling image she had built, Lauren turned to one of Hollywood's most elite publicists, a fixer known for rescuing reputations in crisis. But instead of hope, she was met with two chilling words: too late. Even the world of PR, her last refuge, had abandoned her. What Lauren lost wasn't just money or status, it was the influence she had spent decades cultivating, the power she valued above everything else. Looking back, the truth became impossible to ignore. The marriage had never been about love, but about strategy, a carefully staged performance that Bezos had outplayed from the very beginning. From the lavish Venice wedding to the glossy magazine spreads and glamorous photo shoots, every move that Lauren thought elevated her brand only fed directly into his hidden game. She believed she controlled the spotlight, but in reality, she had been nothing more than a pawn maneuvered across his airtight chessboard. When the cold divorce papers landed in her hands, the illusion shattered. She had never stood a chance. And so her story didn't end with a dramatic comeback or a defiant public statement, but with silence. The woman who once craved the stage was erased from it, leaving only whispers of scandal, while Bezos, calm, expressionless, and ruthlessly methodical, stood tall as the undeniable victor, the architect of a trap that had played out in front of the entire world.
The world watched in stunned silence as the trap snapped shut, the words "too late" echoing like a ruthless verdict across headlines and social media feeds. In a single calculated strike, Jeff Bezos erased Lauren from the board, her once dazzling empire of gowns, galas, and glossy covers reduced to a cautionary tale. But as her image dissolved, another question exploded to the surface. What comes next for the $200 billion tycoon? This wasn't just a divorce, it was a demonstration, a masterclass in control. Now all eyes turned to Bezos, the man who just transformed a fairy tale wedding into a brutal endgame. Was this shocking chapter merely the warm-up before he unleashes his true power against bigger rivals, tech titans, political adversaries, even global markets? Or was it the perfect trap all along, staged for the world to witness his unshakable dominance? One thing is certain, the Venice wedding wasn't the climax. It was only the opening act of a larger, more dangerous war. The game is far from over, and Bezos has just proven he knows how to play it better than anyone alive.